and say, well, I cannot be here because he's got no argument. I presented my case. He has got every right to reject my criteria. Let him present a criteria to show how to judge a prophet, a true prophet from a false prophet. Simple and straightforward. When is Wasimai going to have some decency to stick to what he agrees to? It's very frustrating and annoying, So, Tracing Shadows, you're his admin and my admin too. Focus. Let him focus on the topic. Let him stay on the topic and present the topic as we agreed. Is Muhammad a true prophet? Instead of arguing about Jesus and Mary and Catholics, let him give reasons why Muhammad is a true prophet. Please, mic is free.
All right. What do Muslims know? Please add me so I can communicate with you before you red dot. I'm not the one on the debate anyways. So only at girls. Okay. Done. Thank you, sir. Wasim. Do you hear me? I'm gonna say something to you real quick. You were kind of off topic, so stick to the topic as much as you can. It's okay to bring out a point, but there is no need to bring up foreskins and bring up Christian faith into the equation. Just stick to the topic as much as you can. Give out your criteria of why Muhammad is a prophet. Plain and simple. Answer based on the question. Do not get deviated. I didn't want to red dot you, but again, at the same time, I wanted to consult first with the Muslim know before we red dot. Thank you. Mike's free. We can restart it for the last time. All right. Mike's free.
All right. Could I get a mic check? Could I get a 1 in the text? All right. So, call to serve. First of all, what do Muslims know? I didn't reject the biblical narrative. I only rejected his criteria or his interpretation of the criteria. I haven't once said I reject this verse or I reject this verse or I reject this verse. Now, if he's set out a criteria and Tracing Shadows, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not entitled to quote from the Bible, if I can't quote from the Bible, then I can reject the Bible out of hand and his criteria, correct? Because he said you can't quote the Bible. Now, in my opening statement, I only said the message of the prophet is to worship one God. The Christians, I demonstrated, do not worship one God. So by default, from their understanding, he's already a false prophet. Now, I can say, according to the criteria of Islam, why he's a prophet. I can go into that. But he's going to reject that. So, call to serve, I want you to clarify, are we sticking with the biblical narrative or not? Because if you're saying I can't use the biblical narrative, for that reason alone, I'll reject it. If you want to stick with the biblical narrative, I could show you from your own scriptures. Call to serve. There is no timer left, Black and Horse. It's just a back and forth now, because clearly the Christians can't stick to the topic. So, call to serve. In regards to the prophet of Islam, his message is to worship one God. I know you reject this with the reasons I gave. Now, for you to reject him as a true prophet, to the one who said, worship the God of Isaac, Abraham, and Jacob, to worship, you have to show that he's either a liar. If you could demonstrate that he's a liar, then I will concede this debate. Or if you could show that he was deceived by Satan, I will concede this debate. Or you could show that he was crazy. If those three things can't be shown to be true, the only other option is that he was telling the truth. So there's four possible options. He was a liar, he was crazy, he was deceived by Satan. The second two, he won't be a liar, because if he's deceived, then he's not lying, because he doesn't. What he believes what he's saying is true. But other than that, if you can't prove those three, you have to accept that he's a true prophet. Respond to that directly, call to serve.
Okay. So now he's giving his criteria. I want you guys to pay attention to what he's saying here. So his own way of verifying whether Muhammad is a true prophet, and this is from his head, because he cannot give any reference to any Islamic source. So we have to judge Muhammad based on these three criteria. Either Muhammad is a liar, or he's crazy, or he was deceived by Satan. Thank you very much. I'll go with the same criteria that you just presented. I have no problem with it. You can hear me. Guys, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Everybody can hear me. Can you hear me once again? So, again, I'll get back 20 seconds for wasting my time. You just said, in order to prove Muhammad is a true prophet or a false prophet, you reject the set criteria that I presented, and your criteria is to judge Muhammad based on the fact that if he was deceived by Satan, that would mean Muhammad is not a true prophet. If we can prove Muhammad is a liar, that would prove Muhammad not to be a true prophet. And if we can demonstrate that Muhammad is crazy, that will also prove that he is not a true prophet of God. So thank you for this criteria. I will work with this very criteria that you want to set. So I'll present my argument based on this criteria, and we can do a back and forth. Let us examine the second criteria. Is Muhammad a liar? According to his teaching, this is what he said. And I want everybody, and anybody can open this link with me, to prove that I'm not making things up. I'm judging Muhammad based on this teaching. Is Muhammad a liar or not? Notice in this hadith, narrated Abu Dar, once the Prophet in the mosque, at this time of sunset, the Prophet said, "Oh Abu Dar, do you know where the sun sets?" I replied, and Allah and His Apostle knows best. He said, "It goes and prostrates underneath Allah's throne." And that Allah's statement, "and the sun runs on a fixed course for a term decreed." And that's the decree of the Almighty and All-Knowing, according to chapter 36, verse 38. Now, Wasim Ali, I want you to come to the mic and demonstrate that this was true by the Prophet of Islam. Does the sun go around in a specific course, and does the sun goes and prostrate underneath the throne of Allah? Mic is free.
Osmaldi, your mic. Osmaldi, your mic.
Could I get a mic check? Does the mic work? Could I get a 1 in the text? All right, thank you. I was getting my headphones. So, in reply call to serve, you said you accept the proposition, but you only said you accept half of the proposition.
All right. Can you guys hear me? So we're going to wait for him. He just said you'll be having some internet connectivity issues. So I hope he comes back. And if he does, guys, please notify me. Is he back? All right. So we smiled. We didn't hear you. Continue.
All right, sorry, Mike. Could I get a 1 in the text? My connection was playing. So, call to serve. First of all, I didn't reject the biblical criteria. You said I couldn't mention the Bible, so I rejected it out of hand. Now, you said the criteria that I gave, you accepted it. So do you accept the point that if you can't prove that he's a liar, or he was deceived by Satan, or he was crazy, the fourth option, and the only option that remains, that he is a true prophet, if those 3 things can't be proven, would you accept the fourth option, that he is a true prophet? And you can answer in your own time. So, and also, if you're saying he's a liar, if that's your claim, then you can't say he's deceived by Satan. Because lying means saying something that you know is false, but you pass it off as if it's true. So if he's been deceived by Satan, then he believes what he's saying is true. Likewise, if he is crazy, he can't be called a liar because he believes what he's saying is true. Lying, by definition, is passing off information that you know is false to be true. Now, before we get into the tangent of going into hadiths or scientific miracles, I want you to address the point. A liar must have motive, because you've made the claim that he's a liar. A liar must have motive. He must be motivated to lie. People don't lie for no reason. There is motivation. What is the motive of the prophet for lying? Why did he lie? Because you've made the claim now that he is a liar. So we're ruling out that he's crazy or he had satanic influence. No, it's not off the topic. He's claimed he's a liar, so we're sticking on the topic of lying. So if you could come to that call to serve.
Notice the tap dancing to what we're asking of him. You said a criteria. And notice again, guys, he said he did not reject the criteria I gave from the Bible. I'll use that same criteria again to judge Muhammad whether he's a true prophet or not. I have also accepted his criteria. I will judge Muhammad based on both criteria, my biblical criteria and the criteria he gave, to establish whether Muhammad is a liar, and establish if he was crazy, and establish that he was definitely deceived by Satan. I will present those arguments from his own sources, which he has to respond to. So let us not tap dance. You heard my response, Wasim Ali. You heard my response. I gave you the argument. To start off, I want to expose that Muhammad is a liar because he's a false prophet. His own agenda is to deceive the people, claiming he's a true prophet when in actual sense he's not, claiming he receives divine revelation and divine knowledge from God to deceive the people. And I actually gave you the definition, my definition of a false prophet. I gave definition. A false prophet is a person who falsely claims the gifts of prophecy or divine inspiration or to speak for God or who make such claims for evil ends. So did your prophet do exactly these things? Well, this is the examination. So again, I'm bringing up the hadith, and I want you to respond to this hadith. Did your prophet tell the truth when he said that the sun goes out of its way and goes and prostrates underneath the throne of Allah? This is his teaching. Did he say the truth or did he lie? I want you to address the hadith. This is your prophet. Again, I'm going to put it in the room for everyone to read what your prophet is teaching. Did he lie based on your criteria, or was he telling the truth? If so, can you justify how the sun goes and settles or prostrates underneath the throne of Allah? Show us the evidence that the sun moves to any place from point A to point B. Because again, this is coming not only from your prophet, but from the same God he's introducing for man to worship. Here's the hadith. I want you to respond. Is it true, both scientifically, that the sun goes out of its way and prostrates underneath the throne of Allah? This is your prophet teaching. This is the sunnah of Muhammad. So I want to hear your response to it. We're now examining Muhammad if he's a liar or not. We're going to start from there. So your mic, I want to hear your response. Let's not tap dance on the set criteria. Mic is free.
All right, so unfortunately with the Christians, you have to take it step by step, like a child, because once you refute them on one issue, they'll go back to the exact same issue. Now, Tracing Shadows, you're the admin. He rejected the biblical criteria, because when I mentioned the Bible, he said we can't mention the Bible, so I took the biblical criteria off the table. So the biblical criteria...
I'm going to stop you for falsely misrepresenting me. Guys, how many of you did you not hear me say, I accept both criteria? Did you not hear me say that? Stop lying, Wasim. Please, stop lying. I said it. I accept both criteria, and I'm going to use both criteria. Please, stop misrepresenting me. Get on the mic and start answering the questions. Mic is free. And please, a black horse, start his time again. Start his time again. He's lying now. I don't want him to lie. Yeah, I accept both the biblical criteria I gave, and I accept his criteria that he gave. And now I'm questioning him based on his criteria before I come to my criteria. Come to the mic and start addressing what we're asking. Wasim, mic is free.
All right, call to serve. Before jumping onto the mic, you should listen to what's been said. I said at the start when I was quoting the Bible, you and your admin didn't allow me to quote the Bible. So I said for myself, the biblical criteria is off the table. Now you can hold on to the biblical criteria. As a Christian, you have no other option. But to me, the biblical criteria no longer applies because I wasn't allowed to quote it. Now, we're going to go step by step because you're making a claim. You said the prophet, peace be upon him, is a liar. Now, out of the four options that I gave you, liar, satanic influence, crazy, if he is not those three things, and we disprove all three, if we can show those three things are not true, then the fourth option, that he can only be telling the truth. Do you accept that? Because if you don't accept that criteria, then there's no point in me proving that he's a liar, because if I prove he's not a liar, you could still say, oh no, he's not a false prophet. So if those three things can be disproven tonight, yeah, if he proves one of the three, then I would concede the point. But if he can't prove one of the three, the fourth option, he is telling the truth. And call to serve will have to take the Shahada tonight. If he can't prove he's a liar, he can't prove he's under satanic influence or that he's crazy, then he must take the Shahada on the mics Christianity. So call to serve. I want you to address that point very simply. If the first three options can't be proven, the only other option left that he is telling the truth. I concede the rest of my time.
I'm not sure if I'm speaking to deaf ears here. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me, guys? And I want you guys in the room to be witnesses. He's trying very much not to advance this discussion. How many times did I agree that and said I will prove Muhammad was deceived by Satan, that he's a liar and he's crazy based on his criteria? I did not even use the Bible yet. Yes, Wasim, I will hold on to this criteria I gave, the biblical criteria of how to judge a prophet or not. Start addressing my questions. This is the third time I'm accepting whatever you're bringing on the table, bro. This is the third time. I want you to start addressing. And I'm going to start by, this is your criteria, just to repeat for everybody in the room. To establish that Muhammad is a liar. If I can establish that, then Muhammad is a false prophet. If I can establish that Muhammad is crazy, therefore Muhammad cannot be a true prophet. If I can establish that he was deceived by Satan, then definitely Muhammad cannot be a true prophet of God. I accept that criteria. And I started my argument. Wasim, pay attention. I started by showing you the first lie Muhammad made. By his teaching, you are trying as much as possible to avoid addressing the hadith. I want you to come on the mic and tell us that yes, it is true what my prophet taught, that the sun goes out in a fixed course and it goes and prostrates under the throne of Allah. I want you to come and address this hadith. Please, your mic. Here's the hadith again. And now I relinquish the last part of my time. Start addressing my points. Mic is free. Can you dot me and undot me? I think I've got a hot mic here.
All right. Can I get a mic check? Could I get a one in the text? All right. Thank you, Black Horse. Okay. So, call to serve. Unfortunately, in the 2 minutes that you had, you still didn't make the affirmation. I'm simply saying, and I'm going to allow you to go with the hadith. I'm going to allow you to forward your argument, to advance the argument. I don't have a problem with that. I'm simply stating, as a matter of affirmation, if you don't prove your point, or let's say...
Stop being an idiot. You're now pushing me to the limits of dotting you. I accept. Did you not hear me, Wasim? I will demonstrate. Don't come back repeating the same BS again on the mic. I will prove Muhammad is a liar. I will prove Muhammad was deceived by Satan. I will prove Muhammad is crazy. You are avoiding answering the topic. He's doing that. He wants to make an excuse to exhaust the 1 hour so that he can say, well, we have exhausted the 1 hour and we haven't discussed nothing. Start addressing what I asked. Mic is free. Don't come on the mic and tell me, well, go to serve. If you're not going to come do this, if you're not going to... I told you, I will prove using your criteria that Muhammad cannot be a true prophet. So start dealing with the text. Mic is free.
All right, call to serve. It's quite clear that you don't need to get heated. You don't need to get heated. And in regards to exhausting the 1 hour, I have all night. So that's not an issue. The point I'm making is you've already misunderstood my criteria and you haven't made an affirmation. I can't go ahead and debate with someone on a criteria that he does not accept. I simply, if
Wasim Ali, How many times he told you he does accept? It's been recorded. It is accepted by him. It is recorded. So stop taking the mic and fabricating he does not accept. Nobody has a reason to lie but you. It's been recorded that he accepts. Go on from there. End of story. Move on. Answer the question about the hadith.
Alright, before I was so rudely interrupted. Unfortunately, he has not accepted. He's misrepresented what I said. Because he said, I simply state.
Coward. Again, let me repeat. I accept your criteria. I accept your challenge. I will prove based on your criteria that Muhammad is a liar, deceived by Satan, and he's a crazy man. I will demonstrate with evidence and sources from your books. I accept the challenge. So don't come on the mic saying I did not accept nothing. You hear me for the fourth time now. It's been recorded. Stop being a chicken and start answering. I accept. Mic is free.
Alright, call to serve. Let's do this very simply. If you accept my criteria, come up on the mic and tell me what my criteria is in exactly what I said. Go take the mic.
Guys, are you sure that this guy is ready for this debate, or we're just wasting time here? Seriously, my Muslim brothers in the room, can you honestly tell your Muslim brother that is a joke? He wants to go spinning around on one point and we cannot move. He's not ready. He's already defeated. He cannot stand the arguments. Abdul, you are Abdul because you're a slave of Allah. And every slave of Allah is Abdul. I'm not insulting you. You cannot debate. You only run around opening your mouth. You cannot debate. How many times am I going to say, based on your stupid criteria, which I'm going to use, by the way, to destroy and prove that Muhammad is a false prophet? Yes, let us start from there. Can Code to Serve prove that Muhammad is a liar? Yes, he will. Can Code to Serve prove that Muhammad is crazy? Yes. Can Code to Serve prove Muhammad was deceived? Yes, I will. So I start by proving Muhammad is a liar. Can you answer the hadith that I posted? Wasim Ali, can you please answer? You're scared because you already know that you get busted. And I haven't even started yet. Because I've prepared materials to expose. And this is the very thing that Ibn Norsai tried to do with me. And I'm very prepared, both ways, both your criteria. I know you Muslims don't have any criteria. So this is the very same criteria you bring, but I'm ready for it. Let us start the debate. Start. And let's move from kindergarten to seminary. Present your argument why Muhammad is a prophet. Simple. Can't we have a meaningful discussion? Dude, I gave you the link, Black Horse. It's also there, Arabic and English. Here it is. When it comes to the mic, I want him to address this question. This is his prophet teaching. It is not Code to Serve. And let me post the hadith in case I'm accused of lying. This is Sahih Bukhari. This is authentic hadith. This is not a weak hadith. Because here he's explaining the Quran. Here we go. Narrated Abu Dhar. Once I was with the Prophet in the mosque at the time of the sunset. And the Prophet said, "O Abu Dhar, do you know where the sun sets?" I replied, "Allah and His Messenger knows best." He said, "It goes and prostrates underneath Allah's throne." And that is Allah's statement that the sun runs on a fixed course for a term decreed. And that is the decree of the Almighty All-Knowing. According to chapter